Okay, well, look, shall we, folks, just before we start the meeting, thank you very, very much, everyone, for joining this first ever online WZCC Global AGM. I'm Persis Setner, Global Director from the UK, and just before the meeting begins, a few words about how we'll be using this technology today. Our microphones will be on mute to minimize background noise for everybody. But if you have any comments or questions as we go through the sessions today, please do enter them into the chat box, which many of you are using. And if you don't know, you basically click on the bottom of your screen where it says chat, then type your comment into the chat box that appears on your screen, and I'll voice your questions as needed to the speakers at the end of their sessions. If you cannot hear the meeting, please try increasing your speaker volume or try connecting with a different audio sound option, or log out and leave the meeting and try again to log in. You can also choose what you see on your screen by clicking on the top right-hand side. You'll see the word view, and you can click on or tap on that, and you can choose whether you see the gallery view of all participants or just the current speaker. There's a short section at the end of the AGM for any other business and question and answers, and we'll try and keep things to about 90 minutes today. I'll type these points into the chat dialogue as well in a few minutes, but we'll start our meeting in a couple of minutes. Okay, folks, so as we said, just before we start the meeting, everyone will be on mute, but please do enter any comments or questions into the chat function, and I'll relay them to the speakers at the end of each session. Okay, with that, now over to our Global Corporate Secretary, Adi Siganporia. Adi, if you'd like to open the meeting.
Thank you, Persis. Well, dear friends, this is Adi Siganporia, Global Corporate Secretary of World Zartusti Chamber of Commerce, addressing to you from Mumbai, India. The quorum for the meeting is very well established, and I think it is now time for us to start the meeting. Dear friends, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to extend to you a very warm welcome to this global annual general meeting of World Zartusti Chamber of Commerce. This meeting has much more significance in view of the fact that WZCC has completed 20 years of its fruitful existence, and very soon we will be celebrating silver anniversary on completion of 25 years. We have been doing very well in many other areas, and all these years we will continue to do so. Today, in particular, we are extremely lucky and are certainly honored to have Lord Karan Bilimoria with us, and we thank UK chapter for their efforts. Karan is not new to us, as he has spent his valuable time with us quite often in the past, and his views are always thought-provoking. Karan is the President of the Confederation of British Industry, a member of the House of Lords in the UK Parliament, founder and chairman of Cobra Beer, and Chancellor of the University of Birmingham, and occupies many other distinguished positions. And of course, he is a proud Zartusti. I am now delighted to hand over to Lord Karan Bilimoria to open our global annual general meeting. Over to you, Karan. Most welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for the welcome. Thank you for inviting me to make some remarks now at the opening of your meeting. And it's so good to see all of you, to see Edel, to see Shenaz, to see my cousin Persis Setner, and so many friends that I've just seen on the screen before the start, including Cyrus Todiwala. I saw Dora Mystery and many others. So welcome to all of you. It just shows how time flies, that it's 20 years. I still remember the setting up of the WZCC and being proud to be the first chair of the UK chapter. which I did for a short while, and then Shehnaz has been handling it so ably since then. And I would like to thank you, Shehnaz, for everything that you do for us in the UK, and in such a committed way, and as a true entrepreneur yourself, and we really value it. And Adel, thank you for what you do for the community globally. I mean, our families go back a long way. My uncle and you were at school together, the Doon School, and we have a strong link, and I've seen firsthand how you have championed entrepreneurship and commerce and business within the Zoroastrian community. I think that at a time like this, it's very difficult to describe the situation you're in because of the, quite frankly, nightmare that we have been living through since March last year. In the UK, the landmark day was the 23rd of March, 2020, when we went into our first lockdown. That time, the disease was barely known. I mean, we first started hearing about it in January. And in fact, I'm president of the CBI, the Confederation of British Industry, the largest business organization in the UK. The equivalent in India, for example, is the CII, the Confederation of Indian Industry. And we have an annual Chinese New Year dinner. And the Chinese New Year dinner is always held towards the end of January, beginning of February. And I can picture that dinner. It was at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Knightsbridge near Harrods in London. And we had the Chinese ambassador there. We had the senior Chinese business community. Cambridge University was there. One of our foreign ministers was there. Our former Chancellor of the Exchequer was there. And we were celebrating Chinese New Year. And the Chinese ambassador spoke about this virus that had started in Wuhan and Hubei. And it seemed to be something that was happening in China and that he was telling us about. And little did we realize that a very short time after that, we would go into this global pandemic that has affected every one of us around the world, every country. It's been shockwaves that have reverberated in business terms through the supply chain. It's been a demand shock, a supply shock. It's a health crisis. It's an economic crisis. And it has tested all of us to our limits. And they always say that the true test of leadership is not in the good times. It is in the times of adversity. And it is how businesses have behaved in this time of adversity that has been the test. And what I can say is, what I've seen in the UK, the way that the business on the whole have behaved has been remarkable. There's been a sense of community. There's been a sense of putting back. I mean, my own business with Cobra Beer, we supplied over 7,000 restaurants in the UK. Many of them, well, all of them were shut except for takeaways. And even in that position, many of them would voluntarily open their kitchens and prepare hundreds of meals and take them to their local hospitals for the doctors, for the staff. It was just extraordinary how they would do that without anyone telling them to do it. We had a competition with Prince Charles's charity, the British Asian Trust, in May, the Big Curry Night In, which was 10 nights where the British public ordered a takeaway Indian food or cooked Indian food at home, and they contributed money to save lives and for victims of the COVID crisis in South Asia, including India. And it was remarkable. I mean, we raised a huge amount of money. Hundreds of restaurants participated, even when they were in the midst of a pandemic, when their businesses, they were down on their knees. So I've seen that, and that has been inspirational. What I've also seen in this pandemic is what does not work is a top-down approach from government. Every time any government tries to dictate and say, this is the way we're going to do it, and this is the only way we're going to do it, it has not worked. In the UK, for example, we were testing 2,000 people per day in March, 2,000 people a day. I remember when I got the virus in March, I could not even get tested. It was that bad. And I was told, then don't worry, my lord, even a doctor or a nurse cannot get tested. That was the situation we were in March. And today we are now in a position where we're able to do hundreds of thousands, if not millions of tests per day. And we have lateral flow tests which give you results within 10 days. So we've come a long way. We've learned along the way, but this uncertainty of this virus continues. And that has meant one lockdown after another. In the UK, we're now in our third lockdown. And then on top of that, we've had not just a second wave, not just a third wave, but we now have these new variants that have started to emerge in the UK, in South Africa, and Brazil. And that is something that was predicted and that we're now having to deal with as well. And some of these variants are even more infectious. Sadly, some are even now turning out to be having a higher mortality. So we're having to deal with that. So you look at that and you say, my gosh, this is a never-ending nightmare. But then there is the good news. The good news is this, that governments around the world in their own way have given support. In the United Kingdom, it's been extraordinary. Per capita terms, in whatever absolute terms, the government has spent £300 billion already in supporting businesses through furlough schemes, through reducing taxes, to delaying taxes, to having 100% government guaranteed loans. And on top of that, the government's had hundreds of billions of pounds of quantitative easing through the Bank of England. So this is costing us, I mean, in our case, we're going to have a deficit of £400 billion. Our economy in the UK shrunk by 11% in 2020. So this is huge sums of money, huge amounts of support that have gone. Why? To try and save the businesses and save the jobs, so that when we come out of the recovery, those businesses are there, and those jobs are there. What we do not want is to create mass unemployment. After the financial crisis in 2008, 2009, using the UK as an example, our unemployment figures went up to nearly 10%. And before the crisis, our unemployment figures were the lowest level in over 4 decades at 3.5%. And even today, our unemployment levels are only 4.5% because our furlough scheme, for example, has protected so many of these jobs. So now we've got to make sure there isn't that long-term unemployment, particularly our youngsters. Our youngsters have suffered so much. Their studies, whether it's at school or whether it's at universities, have been completely disrupted. I'm seeing that with my own children, and I feel for them. It is their futures that we have to make sure are secured. So the challenges are there, but this government support, combined with the testing that has now increased rapidly, combined with therapeutics, we are coming out with more and more therapeutics that we're repurposing that are helping to save lives, whether it's dexamethasone is one example, that can cut the chance of dying from this disease, somebody's critical ill by over 1/3. And then on top of that, the biggest breakthrough, of course, has been the vaccines. And this is the light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccines in the UK today, by the time I'm speaking now, we've probably crossed well over 6 million vaccines that we've inoculated people. On the 8th of December was VE Day, when we inoculated our first patient in the UK. And here's something I want to actually leave with you as my message. My message is this, that we have to work collaboratively together in the future. Government cannot do things alone. It has to be government and business working together, also with universities, but also with research centers. So example after example, in London, we set up a 4,000-bed critical care bed hospital in 9 days, with the government, including the armed forces, the army engineers, including the Gurkha engineers, the National Health Service, the Excel Centre, the largest conference centre we have in London, and the University of East London, all working together. And we did that in 9 days. That would not have happened if the government tried to do it on its own. And similarly with the vaccines, we set up our vaccine task force, headed by Kate Bingham, reporting to the Prime Minister only 6 months before the first person was inoculated. And that was to procure 350 million vaccines from different sources, to encourage the research, to fund the research, and then to actually deliver them. So that is the power of collaboration. Of course, our wonderful fellow Parsis, Cyrus and Ada Poonawalla, who are very close friends of mine, have risen to the fore and performed so admirably. The whole world is looking to them in admiration at how they have taken the risk and taken the risk in many, many ways, and are now partners with Oxford and AstraZeneca. And I was proud to see Cyrus get his honorary doctorate from Oxford last year. Little did we know at that time that he would be involved in this with a vaccine with Oxford and AstraZeneca. And again, there's collaboration. AstraZeneca is a Swedish-British firm headquartered in Cambridge. And there we have collaboration with India, with the Serum Institute of India as well. So it's this collaborative effort that has worked, and I would leave you with that message. And finally, if I may, Shehnaz, I'm going to hand over now, and Edel, that there's one message that comes through to me. We are going to come out of this, is at Harvard Business School, one of my favorite professors there, Boris Groysberg, in the middle of this crisis, sent me a paper on a subject I remember studying while I was there. And it's called the Stockdale Paradox. And the Stockdale Paradox is about Admiral Stockdale, who was, during the Vietnam War, he was captured as a prisoner of war. And he spent 7 years in captivity and under horrendous conditions. He was tortured. It was a very bad experience that he went through. And he said, you know, I made it through, but sadly, many of my colleagues did not survive. He said the ones who were too optimistic and who said we're going to be home by Christmas, he said they didn't survive. He said the ones who couldn't deal with the horror and just could not take and have the strength to deal with that horror, they didn't survive either. He said, I survived because every day I would face that horror and say, this is real and I have to face it and I have to fight it and there's no running away from it. But I also knew that one day I would come out of it. And I had that faith that I would come out of it. And that's it. We've got to have that faith and we will come out of it as a global community. I wish you every success with the AGM and all success to WZCC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karan. That was a very inspiring speech. And I love the ending of being hopeful. I know we're going to come out of this. And I think we'll come out bigger and better. I really mean that. As an entrepreneur, I'm very much a half glass full person, but I think definitely there is, we've done so well in the pandemic. So I think we'll do very well outside that. Thank you. And thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you, Karan, once again. We are indeed grateful to you that you have come and addressed us. I'm extremely happy that you gave importance to faith and hope. And I'm sure the WZCC has got both. And we will, with tremendous amount of confidence, we will continue to march ahead. Thank you so very much. Friends, going as per the agenda, there is one little formality which we have to complete, and that is the minutes of the last global AGM, which was held in Lonavala, were circulated to all the members, and I'm sure many people must have already read. In case somebody has any comment to make upon, they are most welcome. Otherwise, we can treat these minutes as read, and I'll be obliged if somebody proposes it and somebody seconds it. Will anybody propose?
Yes, I can propose, Adi.
It'll
I'll propose, Adi.
Sorry?
I can propose.
Somebody will second?
Yes, I can second that, Adi, as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, friends, it is now time for me to hand over the proceedings of this meeting to none other than Shehnaaz Engineer.
Thank you,
Shehnaaz
Adi.
Engineer is not at all pleasure. Shehnaaz Engineer is chair of the WZCC UK chapter, who are hosting this AGM today. Shehnaaz is a successful entrepreneur and is the founder and managing director of the recruitment groups Verity Appointments and City Education Recruitment. She is a freeman of the Guild of Entrepreneurs and a trustee of many charities operating in the UK as well as in Asia. She has been a leading member of the Zatushti community for many years, and we welcome her. Thank you so very much, Shehnaaz, for all your efforts and the efforts of your team. Over to you, Shehnaaz. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. Nothing happens without a wonderful team behind me. And I really thank my committee. They've been marvelous. So a very warm welcome to everyone at this first ever online WZCC Global AGM. The pandemic has challenged us all to think differently and come up with new ideas. And the WZCC and all our chapters have come up with new ideas and around the world have certainly risen to the challenge magnificently. WZCC has been an absolute beacon in the pandemic and has shown the way. It has amazed me how the whole worldwide WZCC community has come together and each chapter has played its part. We have set up chat groups, held webinars, and assisted each other with advice, professional know-how, and networking opportunities. In 2021, business is all about kindness and collaboration. I think Lord Bilimoria alluded to that, and we have done just that. Entrepreneurship and business success is all about big ideas, vision, and value proposition. It's about sleepless nights and worrying days. But it's also about a journey of seeing a good idea made real. Work smart, not harder. Build systems and processes that do not need you so that you can scale up. Use technology to replace your systems, but don't be defined by it. Steal the good stuff from your competitors and do it better. A good example is Richard Branson. Keep your shares and find other ways of rewarding your colleagues. And finally, as Eric Ries says, stay lean for as long as you can bear it. Focus on the cash, not the profit, as that will come later. And of course, get a mentor. It is indeed a pleasure to have the WZCC family together today, even if it's virtually. We were looking forward to having you all with us physically in the UK in May of this year, but it's not to be. Instead, we will be able to host you at the WZCC Global Conclave in our wonderful city of London this October, all being well. So a little bit of potted history about the UK chapter. The UK has been one of the standard bearers when it came to joining as a chapter soon after WZCC soon after the launch in Houston in 2000. In 2001, Dorab Mistry, who had attended the Houston Congress, and together with our Vice Chair, Jimmy Contractor, and our famous Master Chef, Saras Todiwala, approached Lord Bilimoria to establish a chapter in the UK. In 2005, the WZCC World AGM was held in London, and as part of the 8th World Zoroastrian Congress, Lord Bilimoria as chair presided, and our very own famous cricketer, Farooq Engineer, was the special guest. Since then, our UK chapter has gone from strength to strength. It has held events to engage members in self-development, entrepreneurship, and community service. Industrialists, venture capitalists, and professionals have addressed the membership. WZCC UK works very closely with ZTFE, which is the Zoroastrian Trust Funds of Europe, and the Young Zoroastrians. We're now in the process of setting up a mentoring group where age is no barrier for mentors or for mentees. So to our packed agenda today, we have some important updates from our speakers on WZCC activities and progress around the globe. And I hope you will find them interesting. Please share your thoughts and questions in the chat box on your Zoom screen, and Persis will voice these to our speakers if needed. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm delighted now to pass the baton on to our Global President, Adel Dawa. But before that, may I say that Adel has been a very effective leader. He's taken us through this very tiresome time. I mean, I'm being underwhelmed when I say it's tiresome. It was very, very challenging. And Adel, you have done a magnificent job. So thank you very much. And over to you.
Thank you, Shahnaz. Thank you for giving a nice update about entrepreneurship and what UK is doing. So I'm going to try and stay with the what WZCC is doing. But before that, if I could have the first slide. Yeah, I would like to start by extending a warm welcome to Lord Karan Bilimoria and everyone attending today's AGM. Thanks to the UK team, the India office team who consolidated the annual report, the webinar IT team, and all directors, members, supporters for their contribution. Next slide, please. The mission of WZCC, just like to highlight two items at almost every meeting. The mission is building the spirit of entrepreneurship, thus bringing economic prosperity to Zartustis worldwide. And entrepreneurship covers a lot of things, but the best one-line definition that we found and we follow is entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources controlled. Next. Basically, WZCC has decided on 7 objectives, and this was done back in 2017. And we've stayed pretty much with it. Almost everything we do falls into these 7 objectives. 1, communication. In that, we've done e-blasts. As of today, I believe we had about 132 e-blasts. We have Synergy Z, the annual journal, which has been a success and is done every year after year. We have regular directors meetings, at least once a quarter, sometimes more. The next objective was to widen the scope of WZCC. And here's what I want to point out, that based on the definition, entrepreneurship is seen most commonly in startups and small companies, but also in large corporations, professional entities, nonprofits, and education. So WZCC is applicable to everyone, and it's very inclusive, and we want everyone to participate in it. We've increased our number of chapters. We are at 14 chapters, 4 AROs, and webinars are now being done where we almost have to keep a tally of it, an agenda for it, because they tend to even overlap. Social media emphasis. With our ambition of getting more young people involved, we worked on websites, Facebook, WhatsApp. The WhatsApp has been extremely successful, as Shonaz mentioned, and the youngsters are really using it. Fiscal discipline, we've made good progress. I won't spend too much time on this because Ketai will be talking about it later. And joint programs, we've heard the word collaboration a number of times already today. We collaborate with everyone who we can possibly do to benefit us. We've collaborated with WZO trust funds. We've collaborated with Fazana. We've done socio-economic projects with WZOTF. We're working on trade missions and the Zoroastrian Faculty Network, which is a collaboration with the Global Working Group. The youth is a big focus, and we've done, implemented, initiated numerous youth-related items. The WhatsApp group has been very successful. We've done the Tigers Den program, which is a equity financing program similar to Shark Tank. And India has started a Jobs for All program where we're going to help people find jobs who've been affected by COVID and everything. And the youthpreneurship, this is a unique item that we are taking the concept of entrepreneurship and trying to transfer the mindset of entrepreneurship to children as young as 5 years old. And 7, and perhaps the most important, is funding, where we've got debt funding with WZCCI and WZO trust funds in India. We've got the Tigers Den program, which allows equity financing, and the new ZF program, the Zartusti Entrepreneurship Development Foundation in the US, we are about to launch. Next. So just to highlight the 2020 items, we had an excellent AGM and global conclave in Lonavala in early January with the Tigers Den program. Didn't realize that within a month of getting home that life would be completely changed for all of us. In 2020 or late 2019, actually, we formed ZF. And we wanted to form an entity which could give out loans tax-free. But to do that and collect donations, it had to be tax deductible to the donors. So we formed, applied for 501c3 status, which allows us to do that. To do that, we teamed up with Fasana. We thought it would be easier to get it with the help of Fasana. And also we wanted long-term sustainability, which Fasana provided us. So we applied for this 501(c3) status, and we expected a lot of challenge to it from the IRS, but to our surprise and amazement, we got it without any questions within 3 months. So we are off and running, but unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to sort of hold back with the donation drive, which we restarted in the fourth quarter of 2020. Global webinars, as already discussed, that we rose to the challenge and instituted global webinars. In fact, every chapter was doing that webinar, and weekends became so crowded that sometimes we had 2 and 3 webinars on the same day. Youth programs, youthpreneurship, which we talked about, we've done it in the UK, in Canada, in India, and almost in the US. The Jobs for All program has been a terrific success, which is going on in India. And the Zoroastrian Faculty Network, which has finally got on track in 2020 with programs, webinars designed to encourage and help students take up higher education abroad and impact their own growth by developing intellectual, social, and economic entrepreneurship. Next, please. So what are we going to do in 2021? The first thing we want to do is get vaccinated and stay healthy. Then restart in-person chapter meetings. But I think with the new things we've learned, we might end up with sort of a new hybrid models that we could have local meetings, but also open it up to the global audience. Implement ZF. This is extremely important. Our goal is to collect $1 million. It's not going to happen in the first year, but we would like to at least collect 200,000 by March. And we want everyone to spread the word that debt financing, loans without interest are available, so we can get good applicants. And we are hoping that we can do our first loan by March of this year. The London Global Conclave in October, I'd like to invite all of you to be present. It's going to be an outstanding event. And after being cooped up for so long, we are hoping that we'll get a record turnover. Continue to expand youthpreneurship, Jobs for All, and the Zoroastrian Faculty Network. And here I'd like to point out that we have a brand new initiative which involves funding is ZFN Scholar in the humanities and social sciences with a Zoroastrian faculty member in the UK. And you'll hear much more about this in the coming weeks and months. Finally, we need to communicate and celebrate our successes. One last slide I'd like to end with. Our pledge to you: we will stay connected and beat the drum so we may increase participation and membership. We promise to make solid progress on the identified items and report on the status of each at the 2021 Global AGM. We strive to be different, be first, be best. We will work entrepreneurially without being afraid of failures. We will learn, make corrections, and come back to succeed. And nothing breeds success more than success itself. Thank you very much, and back to you, Shahnaz. You're on mute, Shahnaz. Shahnaz, you're on mute.
Thank you, Adel. It's brilliant. Thank you so much. And we've had a very good overview of what our challenges have been and how you've accomplished them. And of course, everyone should get vaccinated so we can see you in October in London. We've got a great program lined up for you. So get out there and get vaccinated. But now we have brief presentations from of annual reports from our various directors. This goes from January to December 2020. Our Vice President, Yazdi Tantra, who has been marvelous with his IT and his technical know-how and has been there at every single webinar. So thank you, Yazdi, for all your hard work. And may we have your report now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Global AGM. I would say that this year was different, not good, not bad, but it was different. We had physical meetings were absolutely at a dead end, and then a spate of virtual meetings emerged like magic out of nowhere. The best part of this was that we had participation from across the world, and lots of connections and camaraderie were built across chapters. Earlier, all chapters used to work within their own small silos, but this year was totally different. So what did we do? We started putting up meeting calendars, publicized on our website as well as on the e-blasts, updated in real time. We had AGMs of India, Pune, and the current AGM, of course, which you are attending now. Series of well-attended webinars, which we spoke about, put up by Dubai chapter showcasing stalwarts of the community in various countries. Week-long event by Bangalore, which was very unique. It was involving all age groups, and it went through a week, and lots of people participated in that. The proceeds which went to charity. Zoroastrian Faculty Network picked up from the month of October onwards, and we have had very many webinars with the small kids. Small means college-going kids who wanted to study abroad. So how to prepare for studies abroad, how to finance your studies, etc., etc. We had wonderful sessions. We had students from all over India, Pakistan, Iran, etc. We are also now expanding for studies in UK. All the other chapters chipped in: UK, New York, Houston, Mumbai, Pune, South California, Sydney, all have had webinars on a variety of interesting topics with reputed speakers on artificial intelligence, working in the oil industry, and much more. It was really unique, and it was a wonderful experience. In the last 20 years of WZCC, I think this was a year when we had the maximum activity, which was attended by the maximum members. So what we continue doing is, you must keep on visiting our website regularly for the calendar of programs. Subscribe to our mailers from our website directly and receive updates right in your inbox. Visit our YouTube channel where we upload all the webinars, including this one will be uploaded to this particular link, and join our Facebook group where you can network, share joys, successes, share your businesses. And the mantra is collaborate, connect, and prosper. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yazdi. That was really good. And I'm so glad we are in the 21st century with all the digital to our hands. So it's been brilliant. Can I ask Adi Sigaporia now to give us his report? Thank you, Adi, for being such a great backroom person who has helped us. Because in every organization, there's always someone who's doing the hard work. And thank you, Adi, for all your support that you give to the Mumbai headquarters. So Adi, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Shahnaz. Well, friends, as I mentioned earlier, WZCC has completed 20 years of its glorious existence. And therefore, if we see the report card in terms of our annual report, one can certainly say that we have passed the examination, not only with distinction, but with flying colors. This is the time when we need to salute our founding fathers, Mr. Rohinton Rivetna and his team is in particular, and their followers like Mr. Minu Shroff for their invaluable contribution. Chapters across the world have remained vibrant and have been performing extremely.
Have we lost Adi Yazdi?
Looks like.
Oh gosh. Can he reconnect?
Just let him, in the meanwhile, let's go to the next speaker.
Right, okay. Our next speaker is the Global Honorary Treasurer, Ketayun Kapadia. Ketayun has been amazing. She's so particular in getting everyone's accounts. Every year when she sends us the note of sending your accounts, my heart sinks because we haven't done much. But thank you, Ketayun, for always doing this for us and actually keeping us all on track and making sure that we don't go into deficit. So thank you, Ketayun, and over to you until we get hold of Adi.
Thank you, Shanaz. And I'm wishing you all a happy and healthy New Year 2021. In my role as the Global Treasurer based in the US, I maintain the Global Treasurer's account, and I compile the financial statement which you see on the screen for WZCC global entities based on the financial statements received by me from an individual chapter or region. The financial statements for all WZCC entities are stated for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, except for India region, which is for the period April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020. So when you see in front of you, we have all the chapters who have submitted their accounts. In US, we have 5. The New York chapter, Houston, Chicago, Southern California, and Central Florida. For Canada, we have Toronto and Vancouver. Then we have the India region accounts, London, Middle East, Dubai, Sydney, and the Synergy accounts. The India region account includes consolidated accounts for 3 chapters, Mumbai, Pune, and Bangalore. Now going back to the numbers, in 2020, you see that the total revenues were 78,726, and they include membership dues, donations, program fees, and advertisements. The revenues for 2020 are 78,000 compared to last year when we had only 63,939. This is due to the fact of the advertisements collected by the Mumbai chapter for the Synergy, as well as during the Global Conclave in Lonavala last year. So that has given us a big uptick in the revenues. As far as the expenses go for 2020, we have a total of 68,946 as compared to 74,000 last year. That is because the program expenses have dropped drastically this year, as many of the chapters, or most of them, I should say, had virtual webinars versus in-person meetings. So that has resulted in a total of 9,780 being an increase to our total numbers. I would like to thank at this time also all those people across the chapters who have contributed from their pockets to sponsor WZCC accounts. And I would like to name a few. We have Lord Karan Billamoria, Shanaz Engineer, and Dorab Mistry for the programs they sponsor for the UK chapter. We have several individuals in India and especially in the Mumbai chapter who sponsor events there. We also have several members across USA and Canada who sponsor this. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Meher Besania because she has incurred several expenses towards travel, communication, design, and development, and of the adverts, etc., which she manages for Synergy, for the last 17 years. So thank you, Mayor, for an excellent synergy which you come out. And thank you all for participating in all the programs that WZCC has across the world. And last but not the least, I would like to say a big thank you to Edel Davar as our global president. Since my coming on board in 2015, I have seen WZCC activities, participation, membership going through the roof across the world. So thank you, Edel. And before I end, I'd like to have somebody propose and second my treasurer's report. Thank you, Shanaz.
Thank you, Ketayun. And can we have a proposer? Zubin said, Dr. Zubin Setna has proposed. Can we have a seconder, please?
I see Homi Italia's hand up.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't see that. Homi, thank you so much. So there you are, you have your seconder, Ketayun. Thank you so much. We're so glad that under your leadership, the treasury is great. And we're very glad that it's in credit. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Now we ask Jahan Kotwal to give us a brief presentation of the youth wing. Thank you, Jahan. Is Jahan there?
Yes.
Thank you, Jahan.
Yeah, sorry, it was muted. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone present, and a warm welcome. I am the Global Youth Director for WZCC, and as 3 years have passed of my tenure, before I start, I would love to thank the UK chapter for hosting this event, all our directors and our president. The last year, I think, has been a transformative year for us in WZCC, simply because we've had a very unique year. We've pivoted completely into seminars and webinars, online markets. We did a very nice bazaar, which the Bangalore chapter conducted. And most of this has been supported by the youth wing, by our entire team in India and globally as well. I think fundamentally where all of us focused on this year was that compared to 2019, when we did Shark Tank, and which is now called the Zoroastrian, the Tiger's Den, we fundamentally said that, okay, 2019 was focused towards entrepreneurs, whether it was raising equity-based financing, whether it was giving businesses, interest-free loans, etc. In 2020, what of course preceded the pandemic, the idea was that instead of just focusing on the entrepreneurs, let's take it to the professionals as well. And we decided to have, we realized, of course, during the pandemic that it was the perfect time to launch this program, which was what we call the Jobs for Every Zoroastrian. And the idea was brought into fruition last year after our post-AGM meeting, where our leadership and our ordinary members agreed to give the youth wing an opportunity for the idea. We raised funds so that we could have a dedicated resource for this purpose. And I'm glad to say it's been a phenomenal success. We've had over 500 participants looking for jobs in India alone. During the pandemic, of course, we realized we had to move as fast as possible. We've got a brilliant team on board. We've realized that, of course, jobs is right now the most critical thing that the community needs. And of course, different fields of work to help people move into different roles, etc. It just showed how important the fact that we had 500 participants coming in, over 500, I think we're now at 540 participants looking for jobs. Just the whole logistics of managing that on an HR level was just something that was of a very big magnitude, with which our team executed excellently. We've hired a full-time professional, Mafrin, who works on this day in, day out, and an amazing HR team, Zubin Treasuryvala, Havovi Patel, Rashna Sanjana, Delna Shroff, Sherna Siganporia, and our mentors, Adil Malia and Xerxes Dastur. In the last 3 months, we've sent over 20 people to different potential job interviews. 4 of them have secured jobs. We've had hope that everyone that applies eventually, unfortunately, not everybody is suited for the right job and the right role. So we are trying to even incorporate training and how to write your CV. helping them find the perfect fit for them. Mostly it's been, when we reach out to people, one of the things that I would request all the members here is that if you ever have an opening or you know of an opening, please let us know so that we can help the people who could be the right fit for this program get an opportunity for at least applying, and then based on their talent could hopefully get a job that can be sustainable and help them grow. So fundamentally, this has been our focus for the last year. And I hope that this year, in the coming few months' time, we get more people involved. Of course, apart from this, we've also done the entrepreneurship bit, which was our Tiger's Den. And we've had a successful first Shark Tank, which we had in India, in Lonavala last year. And one of our participants, Hormus Charna, secured an equity-based funding with one of our sharks. So we had about 10 participants, 9 sharks. One of the sharks, Mr. Godrej, it was one of the big investors of about 1 crore rupees and in this new startup. And there were other 3 startups that got funded as well in LA and in Lonavala. So it's all happening, and the name's been changed now. We're no more called, Shark Tank. It's now Tiger's Den because the Parsis are the tigers of India. So, or at least claim to be. And the future of 2021 is digital, as we all know. So we're focusing heavily to connect the youth using social media, and we're having a separate team set up for that. We're trying to put together a task force which enables the youth across the world to interact, network, connect. And we're looking forward for all the efforts from all the global teams across the world, not to work in silos anymore, which was happening earlier, but thanks to the situation now, we're making it a more cohesive approach to connecting the youth across the globe. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Jahan. I think you're doing a wonderful job with the youth, especially finding them work, which is so important, even just for their mental well-being. So thank you so much. And now can we ask Beros Daruwala to tell us something about the women's wing? Beros had the most amazing webinar, I think 2 weeks ago, on women who are actually pilots. I mean, it was really very, very interesting. It was so heartening to see so many Parsi women as pilots and first officers. I was absolutely thrilled. And thank you so much, Beros, for bringing them together. And thank you for all that you do for the women's wing. So over to you, Beros. You're muted, Beros. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Shehnaz. Greetings from the ladies.
Beros, you're frozen. Can you reconnect or reboot? Yes, Dee? Is there something we can do?
No, I think her connection is not proper.
Oh gosh. Shall we go move on to Mayor Besania, please? Mayor, if you're there, can you come on board, and we will take Beros after you if possible.
Okay, thank you very much, Shehnaz. And Yasti, can we have the PPT?
Yes. Can I just, Yasti, 1 second. I'd like to introduce Mayor. She has done an amazing job with all the webinars. Mayor, every single webinar you've had has been so interesting. And some of the people I didn't know, but you know, it's fantastic, the work that is done by Parsis around the world. And of course, Synergy is a great read. You always come up with innovative articles, and thank you so much. You really are doing a fabulous job. And over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shehnaz. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. This year, we are celebrating the 17th anniversary of Synergies. So today is a day of triumph for all of us, not just for the journal, but of a cause which is definitely WZCC. The will of the members is heard through the journal. The publication will take WZCC to greater heights, and it will continue as long as we want it. Publications are very expensive, but with God's grace, for 17 years, we have somehow or the other managed. So Synergies is not only a journal, it is a crown. It is a crown in the jewel of WZCC. It acts as a platform for working together, innovating together, and dreaming big. Award-winning writers contribute to the journal, and I'm thankful that Lord Karandeli Maria has contributed articles several times to Synergies. It also offers equal opportunity to the chapters to collaborate. It is intelligently crafted. It provides education, fresh stories, and much more. In short time, it has evolved as WZCC's revenue earning arm and become community's top journal. It offers equal opportunity to all chapters to collaborate. Yelsi, can we go to the next slide? What do we do at Synergies? We come up each year with a theme. This year's theme is Fathers, Sons, and CEOs, and we will be having a separate section for our hottest young entrepreneurs. After announcing the theme, we go and collect articles from different writers. We receive them, edit them, prepare the artwork for the journal, and we incorporate adverts from multinationals and people who want to advertise in Synergies for their products and services. We are grateful to our contributors, to our advertisers, and thereafter we close the issue and we send it to India for printing. We print 200 to 300 hard copies and distribute them on complimentary basis to our members worldwide. Why are we making Synergies? Why do we do it? Synergies brings ideas to life. We ensure best offering to our members. We put WZCC on a stronger and a higher pedestal. Topics range from power issue to achievers to SMEs, startups, youth, entrepreneurship. All leading personalities' profiles have been covered by us, and Synergies is thus the jewel in the crown of WZCC. Ladies and gentlemen, let's work together to offer an opportunity to all and make this journal great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. That was brilliant. Can we bring Beros back on again, Yasti? Beros, are you there? Beros, can you hear us?
Yes, I am there. I can hear you.
Great. Sorry, can we start all over again?
Okay, all right. Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen, from the ladies' wing of WZCC. As I just mentioned earlier, we are just 5 years old. And since then, this wing has provided a platform for both women entrepreneurs and professionals for networking, strategic alliance, and of course, professional and entrepreneurial promotions. The report submitted by we clearly reflects our progress and achievements, and we will continue to provide training programs and workshops ranging from personal development to startups to for business plans, along with advisory and mentoring services. With all this women, with focus of women, their challenges and their attributions. We also ensure that women achievements are highlighted, and we try to ignite the fire in the belly of young next-gen women entrepreneurs and professionals. COVID was the time when we thought, oh Lord, now we are going to miss everything and everybody, but it didn't happen that way. We had, in fact, a very interesting time, as others have said, because we took advantage and organized seminars, not only locally, but we joined hands with other chapters and whether they were regional or international. And we just got on very, very well with that. As Shehnaz mentioned, just this month, we had organized a seminar which was in collaboration with Mumbai chapter, Bangalore chapter, and then way out Toronto chapter for lady pilots. We had young lady pilots, one of them an international award winner, 4 awards in fact. We had one lady pilot from the first batch of Air Force. And of course, we had Parsi women pilots from national and international commercial carriers. We had over 150 attendees. And what made me really happy was I actually received queries from 2 next-gen Parsi Zartusti youngsters who said, we'd like to join the forces. We want to take up this trade. Can you put us on to the speakers and things like that, which I did. Friends, if even one of them joins and does us proud as a community, I feel I've been awarded. So with this and all these potentials, I request chapter chairs to induct at least 2 ladies in their committees and empower them to focus on women-oriented programs at all levels. These ladies can help change their dynamics, reshape the conversation, make sure women voices are heard and heeded. Because a strong woman understands that gifts such as logic, decisiveness, and strength are just as feminine as intuition and emotional connection combined with grit and perseverance. I thank you all for the support that I have received from all over globally and look forward to another exciting year and with a growing sense of purpose for the ladies wing of WZCC. Thanks, Shehnaz.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Beros. That was great. And I'm sure the UK will find 2 women who would be empowered to join your lovely band and do some women-centric stuff in the UK. So thank you, Beros.
Adi is back, Shehnaz.
Oh, good. So Adi, can we have you back now? We're so sorry you were frozen out. That's Adi, our Honorary Secretary of Global WZCC. Adi, are you there?
Yes, I'm there very much. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Can
Do I
we
start
carry on? Thank you so much.
Can I start from the beginning or should I don't know from where something went wrong.
Well, yes, you can start from the beginning, Adi, but we
Sorry.
have to be quick.
Yeah, I'll be very fast. Well, friends, as I mentioned earlier, WZCC has completed 20 years of its glorious existence, and therefore, if we see the report card in terms of annual report, one can certainly say that we have passed the exam not only with distinction, but also with flying colors. This is the time when we salute our founding fathers, particularly Mr. Rohinton Riva and his team, and their followers like Mr. Minu Shroff for their invaluable contributions. Chapters across the world have remained vibrant and have been performing extremely well. Comparatively, newer chapters like Bangalore, Toronto, etc. have been doing wonderfully well. We being as usual under the overall leadership of Beros has been flying high. Yazdi, a man of few words, has been performing his duties wonderfully well. Innumerable webinars have been successfully organized by him over the last several months. Our Synergy magazine is well appreciated by one and all because of the tremendous efforts of Mayor, and our youth wing is always enthusiastic. Above all, our business advisory committee has been making untiring efforts with hard work put in by Mr. Karas and his colleagues. And of course, ZFN continues to do good work. Last but not the least, heavy workload has been very well executed by our CEO, Asmi Atia, and his team. We also need to thank all our members, past and present WZCC officials, well-wishers, sponsors, advertisers, donors, press, auditors, and all those who have helped WZCC over the years. In spite of coronavirus, we are glad to note that WZCC continues to have a forward march. Before I conclude, I would just like to touch upon one small point. World in general has been polluted by us very badly. We have polluted air, we have polluted water, and unfortunately, we seem to be having polluted our minds. Nature, therefore, and Almighty have given us a slap on our face and a kick on our pants and have brought the entire world on its knees. What the message that they have given is, and I will quote, temporal man sets out to plan plans that are proud and heady, plan and plan as much as you can. The plan is planned already. Well, friends, time has come for us to change our attitude and follow the principles of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And therefore, let us hope and pray that our onward journey will be much more brighter, smoother, happier, and much more pleasant than ever before. May God bless WZCC. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adi. And now can I ask Percy Master to give us a presentation? Percy runs an extremely successful shipping company. And I don't know where he finds the time, but he also leads the Mumbai chapter, which has gone from strength to strength. And he gives us valuable service also to WZCC globally. So Percy, thank you so much for being on. And we'd love to hear from you about WZCCI and WZOTF.
Thank you, Shahnaz, for that lovely introduction. Good evening, everybody. God doesn't require us to succeed. He only requires that you try. The things you regret most in life are the risks you didn't take. So with this in mind, we started in March 2018 an initiative of WZCCI, WZOTF Financial Initiative. It took us some time to collect the donations, which were received from overseas and local donors to the tune of about 1.68 crores. During the course of this period, till date, we have disbursed a sum of about 1.17 crores. Total repayment received from our recipients is to the tune of 45,36,145. Available balance, including interest, we have with us a balance of 96,45,960. We actually started our financial initiative from December 2018. I will just give you a brief of the people whom we have financed and what they are doing. We financed Urvax Reoman Tavadia, who produces EV battery conductors for electric cars, and he exports these to the USA. He has been very thankful to us and is making a wonderful progress. Marazban Jamshed Karai, he produces critical chemicals for the Indian military, and he is widely appreciated by the military. Cyrus Jangu Pithawala, he runs a container storage yard in Gujarat and Maharashtra. Rehan Hoshang Netarwala, he conducts accounting services and helps major companies do their finance activity. Cyrus Khushru Mistry, he is producing diamonds by lab chemicals, a unique initiative. Freddy Meher Jagirdar, he has a franchise for Smoking Joe and is picking up his business. Hormus Charna, who runs a merger demo website for business acquisitions. He, of course, got 1 crore of equity from Mr. Nadir Godrej during the Tiger Den, which we had in Lonavala. And he has not yet taken his money because he is still in the preparation stage. We have received few applicants which are under review, but for the future, we intend to advertise aggressively and also raise funds for the future. The positive side is that so far, none of the recipients have defaulted, which shows that the Business Advisory Committee has been working at optimum level. I will be failing in my duty if I don't appreciate the contributions from Sam Balsara and Dinsha Tamboli, who have always attended our meetings at very short notice. Philly and Adi for scrutinizing and doing all the back office scrutiny of the applicants. Aspi for keeping all the records and follow-up. Zarek Dastur for all his legal advice. And our Yazdi Tantra for his finance expertise and IT whenever required. So in all, I appreciate the effort of the team BSc, which has been doing a wonderful job. During the course of the pandemic from March 23rd to December 20, we have been very flexible in our EMIs and gave moratorium to most of the persons whom we financed, even up to end December in certain cases. We'll continue with our objective of giving finance to deserving startups. We have also observed that most of the applicants lack knowledge and preparing a proper business plan and are reluctant to take assistance from a certified chartered accountants. This is being addressed by the BSc currently. The formats which we have done are very straightforward. And if the applicant provides all the details and documentation in time, the maximum time we take for granting the finance is about 4 to 6 weeks, which is, I think, very good. It is our endeavor to help young entrepreneurs get interest-free finance up to 25 lakhs to start their projects. Our youngsters have to be brave and remember that you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Also, you can't fail if you can't climb, but there's no joy in living your whole life on the ground. So with these few words, I would request Philip if he has to add anything for the future of BSc. Thank you.
Philly, have you got anything else to add? No. So shall we now go on to Tiger's Den?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, Philly, go ahead.
Just a few minutes to say what we plan to do in the current year. You know, we had 20 applications between January and December for funding. And we have a process which helps them to start thinking about their business plan before they start making a business plan. And we ask them to go through that preliminary process. Not a single candidate has come back to us with that information. And I am very disappointed. Everyone talks about what is happening and all, but I am very disappointed that these people do not have the will to improve. And this is the current situation with our community here in Bombay. So what we are trying to do is have programs on financial control, marketing strategy and management. That's one of the things we want to do during the year. The other is that our BSc members must become mentors for young groups because there is a lot of opportunity for new ideas to work in India. We are the third largest startup country in the world. And according to Gopala Krishnan, one of the very well-known authors of management in India, he says we are going to be the #1 country in entrepreneurship and startups. But the community doesn't see that yet. So we are going to help people to become mentors. And there are a couple of other things we are going to do. So this is what I would like to share with you all.
Thank you, Philly. I think you've identified something that we need, whereby we actually help startups to write a business plan, do all the marketing, etc. So there's obviously some kind of gap in their learning. So this is where you come in and you teach them how to go about it. So thank you
And
so
just
much.
just a quick point from Juru on the chat. It says, a suggestion to Percy and Philly, instead of a set of lectures, perhaps you could consider a learning community. I guess that's some kind of network. So maybe maybe that's a suggestion for
That's what we
later.
are going to do in the current year anyway.
Brilliant.
Good.
As we are running a bit late, can we go on to Tiger's Den? And I assume Jahan is going to give us a presentation on that. Jahan, are you there?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'll quickly wrap this up, but
Please.
Tiger's Den, as most of you know, we've changed the name due to copyright issues of the Shark Tank. But for those of you who aren't aware of what Shark Tank is where we have a set of investors investing in startups using equity-based funding. Fundamentally, the idea is to either take just innovative ideas or even startups that have begun and have a proof of concept and see to it that they can scale at a much faster pace. As I mentioned before, we've done 2 of these, one in LA, one in Lonavala. We plan to have the next one in London as well. So for all of you who are listening to this and would like to start your ventures or even be potential investors, please reach out to us. We've had so far about 10 participants out of, I think, about 35 shortlisted, and 9 sharks from across the world. One of the big, success stories, of course, is Hormuz Charna. But we also are looking at a potential even bigger valuation-based company, which was in LA presented, called Lotus Trolley Bags. And it's in the pipeline. Hopefully that will be even bigger than the success we've had with Hormuz. One of the fundamental things that we've noticed that also happened thanks to the equity-based funding was that it wasn't just the money. We also had a lot of entrepreneurs who found their correct mentors, and those mentors are now guiding these entrepreneurs to grow and scale 10x, 20x, etc., as per whatever their so-called targets are. One of the other points is that we plan to have, of course, our next program in London. But before that, we would like to see to it that participants that come, like Felisa mentioned, and Captain as well mentioned about giving them training. So hopefully groom them, give them an idea on how exactly investors, what are they looking for, how to create a business plan, give them the entire back-end guidance, because a lot of them are very young, a lot of them are not very exposed. I was fortunate as well to receive funding for my startup, thanks to the network of WZCC. So a big shout out to all of the people and members here as well. But overall, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to London.
Thank you. We're looking forward to having you over, Jahan.
Absolutely.
So now for something that we've really been waiting for is the awards. And I will ask Adel Dawa to announce the annual WZCC award winners. Adel, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shahnaz. We now come to the highlight of today's program, the WZCC 2020 Awards. Each year, WZCC recognizes outstanding Zartusti entrepreneurs in 4 different categories. The nominations are evaluated by judges on 3 continents, and their identities are strictly confidential. I take this opportunity to thank the judges for their valuable service over many years. Each applicant is rated in different attributes and the score tallied. Home Office then combines the scores from each of the judges to determine the winners. This year, the judges were extremely consistent and the selections were almost unanimous. Because of the pandemic, we are having the AGM virtually, and the global conclave, which normally accompanies the AGM, will be delayed and held in October 2021 in London. All the winners have outstanding achievements. Today, we are simply going to announce the winners with a few lines about them. The actual physical award will then be made in London in October. At that time, we'll present the accomplishments in more detail, and they will also be requested to make an acceptance speech then. So let's announce the WZCC award winners for 2020. The WZCC 2020 Outstanding Entrepreneur Award goes to Dr. Rustam Adi Kanga. Dr. Kanga is founder and CEO of iOmniscient Private Limited, which was established in Sydney, Australia in 2001. The company specializes in building solutions involving artificial intelligence computer vision systems for industry. It has implemented systems in 60 countries for entities such as Disney, Chicago Transit, 56 airports, China Fast Trains, and Sydney's driverless trains. They've also developed a system to find lost children, which is offered free everywhere in the world. Rustam has helped the local Zoroastrian community by providing jobs and performing Navjot's weddings and funeral prayers. Congratulations, Dr. Rustam Kanga. The next award is the WZC 2020 Outstanding Professional Award, which goes to Dr. Zarathustra Jal Amrolia. Dr. Amrolia helped set up an artificial intelligence-based fintech startup, XTX Markets, in the UK. He's currently co-chief executive officer of XTX Markets, which is an investment banking company using artificial intelligence cutting-edge technology. It is number one in the European equity market, number 3 in the FX foreign exchange arena, and in the top 3 players in the commodities market, which culminates in trading US 200 billion a day, yes, per day. ZAR, as he's called, has always been willing to contribute ideas and donations to the UK Zoroastrian community and also globally to Zoroastrian and non-Zoroastrian causes. Congratulations, Dr. Zarathustra Amrolia. Our third category and winner is the WZCC 2020 Outstanding Young Entrepreneur Professional Award, which goes to Rahul Bansal. Rahul worked for Citi and then at Green Tech Capital Advisors, a global investment bank, with Jeff McDermott, former CEO of UBS. Here he acquired an entrepreneurial mindset. After getting his MBA, he launched his own search fund backed by a group of investors and closed on a deal to become CEO with an equity stake of Tribal Vision based in Boston, USA. Tribal Vision is a global outsourced digital marketing service firm. Rahul's family is intimately involved with Zagni. Rahul has also played a leading role as a volunteer for the March of Dimes charity from age of 13. He visualized and organized a multicultural show called Rangila, which has netted 1.5 million over the last 18 years, and all this while still in his early 30s. Congratulations to Rahul Bansal. Our last but not least award is the WZCC 2020 Outstanding Social Entrepreneur Award, which goes to Dr. Yasmin Jamshed Gadiali. Yasmin started and owned her own dental practice in Brooklyn, USA for 40 plus years, serving many poor patients at a discount and even free. She has empowered Zarthusti women, including providing seed money for their businesses. After visiting Parsi General Hospital in 1986 and seeing their dire need, she started an annual PGH fundraiser and has raised a total of $812,000, which has helped PGH tremendously and in turn the Zoroastrian community. This is not all. She has provided services to Zwin Zeal, Samar, which is a bone marrow registry, Pentecostal Church, and of course, everything you can think of for her beloved Zagni. Congratulations to Yasmin Gadiali. Let's give all the outstanding achievers a round of applause. Thank you, Shana. Back to you.
Thank you, Adal. That was absolutely inspiring, and congratulations to all 4 winners. Of course, we are very biased. We've got a UK winner, and hearty congratulations to Zara Mrolia. But we do not take that away from everyone else. Thank you so much. And it was great to see all these worthy winners. So thank you, Adal. Now we have really completed the formal part of this meeting. So let's have some fun. And we decided in the UK, as we were hosts, to actually commission a film from a very young filmmaker. He's just left film school, and he decided to interview 4 young entrepreneurs, 2 who are startups and 2 who have established businesses. And young Ryan Khalifa, being a filmmaker, he interviewed them, and then he went around London taking photographs. So most of the images are from Ryan. And I would like you to note that Ryan took some pictures of London being a vibrant, wonderful city. And then he took pictures in the lockdown. And it's very evocative to see London as a silent, empty place. So make a note of that. And it's very, it's amazing to see what has happened to us in this lockdown and the pandemic. So over to Yazdi. Yazdi, can we have our wonderful film? Can you say thanks to Darius? Can you say thanks to Darius?
Hello everyone, I am Jara Dudmal and I'm the founder of Pip & Henry, a company that makes sustainable, eco-friendly shoes for children.
My name is Andrusam Kasinath and I am the founder and director at Advanced Metals Castings Limited.
Hello there, my name is Navas Sethna and I've been managing my Kumon business in Wembley for 14 years as business owner and instructor.
Hello, I'm Malcolm Kapadia and I own and run Click & IT London Limited.
They say children are the catalyst for change, and that was certainly true for me. When my daughter came into our lives, the sheer volume of stuff that entered our home really started bothering me. On the one hand, I wanted her to be inspired by nature and animals and to treat the world kindly and thoughtfully. And on the other hand, she was outgrowing clothing and footwear faster than I could have imagined, becoming an unwitting participant in the destruction of our environment. Research showed me that 60 million pairs of children's shoes end up in landfill every single year in the UK alone, leaching horrible chemicals and toxins into the ground and water over thousands of years. Now, as Parsis, we are all very conscious of the importance of protecting our natural elements, and Zoroastrianism has perhaps been one of the first practitioners of environmental conservationism. And that is indeed one of the tenets that drove within me a haunting desire to change the way in which this common everyday product is made and then disposed of. We've spent months of research into materials, footwear manufacturing and design, and recycling options. COVID impacted manufacturing, and with my factory in India and travel made more difficult, progress has been slower than I had hoped, but we are now back on track and on the cusp of launching in the UK. We will sell shoes made out of innovative eco-friendly materials like hemp, recycled rubber for our soles, and pineapple leaf fiber. We will incentivize the return of outgrown shoes back to us so they can be reused or repurposed and none of our shoes end up in landfill. And finally, we will bring to life the adventures of Pip & Henry, a little girl and her dinosaur friend, using storytelling to make children more aware of the impact their daily choices have on the environment and to help children feel empowered to drive change themselves. I've had a lot of support along the process from the UK startup community, getting accepted into accelerator programs and winning competitions like LSE Generate and the MSD UK Innovation Challenge, which has given me access to funding and mentorship from senior industry leaders. And indeed, I've benefited from being a part of the WZCC community, getting introductions to footwear manufacturers and advice on marketing and brand building. It's a privilege to have had the opportunity to introduce my young business before this community, so thank you very much for having me here. Do feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn to learn more about my business and to stay in touch. Thank you very much.
We basically have a technology which enables to be cast at a lower temperature while providing a stronger casting, a stronger finished product. By use of our products, we aim to reduce energy consumption in the metal casting field while also lowering operating costs and giving better strength to weight ratios of final products. I mean, everyone's challenges are different when you're an entrepreneur. For me, I think the biggest challenge I've had to face is trying to convince industrialists that they need this technology. A lot of people are generally used to doing things in a certain way and generally don't even know they need an improvement. Approaching people like this, approaching companies as a sole inventor, comes with its own set of challenges. So for me, it's basically been trying to get heard. So there's a lot of support for people like me, especially when you've got your idea well protected. So if you've got your IP strategy in place, then there's a lot of resource out there. Your first stop would be your local universities. Most of them have outreach programs. Another good stop would be to check out government grants, which are generally found on the innovate.co.uk website. The best thing about being a Zoroastrian entrepreneur is the ability to make a name for the Parsi community in a country that isn't India.
Kumon is a maths and English study centre for children of all ages, and I have over 220 students. The Kumon programme is quite unique, allowing students to start with relatively easy academic material so that they can focus on speed and technique, and then long-term students reach academic levels above their school level. I'm currently on the Kumon UK Instructor Advisory Committee, which represents a body of 650 instructors nationwide, and my centre has also been awarded with the prestigious title of Elite Centre for the past 6 years. This is a small group of 40 Kumon centres across the UK and Europe who are presented with this title each year for reaching various key performance indicators. So the biggest challenge that I experienced during these 14 years was undoubtedly last year's pandemic. Up until February 2020, all classes were delivered face-to-face and few back-office processes were automated. Within 1 month of the pandemic hitting us last March, we rolled out an online Kumon class delivery service via Zoom. There were many challenges to overcome, not least identifying suitable staff members to operate this new and frankly unknown tranche of the business. But by the end of March last year, we managed to roll out our first online group successfully, and we now have 5 different online classes running every week. And what's interesting is that the future now holds a blend of online and face-to-face class delivery as we move forward. Whilst we lost a small proportion of students initially due to the pandemic, due to families experiencing a sudden change in their financial circumstances, the large majority of students remain with us. It's really interesting to note that not one of our students has experienced a single day's worth of disruption in their Kumon studies since the start of the pandemic. And so this experience has highlighted the need for continuity of education for children, especially in light of school closures. In terms of the support that I've received from the UK's entrepreneurial ecosystem, over the last 14 years, apart from the furlough scheme, which has allowed me to retain my valuable staffing team, I haven't really received any support from the UK government. But then again, up until now, I haven't really felt the need to engage with any external support groups, although that may change in the future. I was in industry for 14 years prior to setting up this business, and so one of the best things about being a Zoroastrian entrepreneur is being able to use my own personal values to shape the business and drive it forward. For example, selecting and retaining my own staffing and also nurturing our students in the local area. Whenever I have a business decision to make, I tend to use the Kumon philosophy, which makes me ask myself what's best for the Kumon student. I guess this thought process typifies me as a Zoroastrian entrepreneur, ensuring that whenever change comes about in the business, that the student is at the heart of it.
I started the company with a business partner back in 2006 at the age of only 25, providing IT support and services to the small business and education markets. Nearly 15 years on, we now provide all manner of IT services, sales and installations to over 200 customers. We're now one of the largest and most recognised IT services companies amongst the education sector in Greater London. We have nearly 20 members of staff now, and recruiting and retaining the right level of staffing has been one of our greatest challenges over the years. Another challenge has always been in winning and gaining accolades from various vendors which allow us to increase our stature, in turn enabling us to tender for larger contracts. We found that being an entrepreneur in the UK is well supported by a number of government, vendor and peer group support networks. We especially find that Greater London and specific local authorities support groups are key in helping a small to medium-sized enterprises such as ours in gaining contracts which would otherwise go to the big players. Being a Zoroastrian entrepreneur allows me to play a part in being involved with the UK chapter of the World Zoroastrian Chamber of Commerce, receiving advice and mentoring, as well as taking part in the excellent networking opportunities that are offered.
Thank you so much, Jaru, Nawaz, Zen, and Malcolm. And of course, Ryan. I hope you noticed how quiet London was in the pandemic. So thank you very much. Our next agenda item is the Global AGM in India. So over to you, Adal.
Okay, I don't know, this Percy being the India president, do you want to comment on it, Percy?
So I think Viraf Debu has got a PowerPoint to explain.
Okay.
Viraf, can you please come in? Viraf?
Yes.
Viraf, just give me a minute. Huh?
Yes.
Just 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just while we are waiting, in the program, it was written like the next AGM would be in February 2022. But after our discussion at the pre-AGM, it'll probably be in early January. So people who are visiting India can combine it with their vacations more effectively.
Just 1 second.
Do you think, Persis, there are any questions that can be answered while Yazdi is getting ready?
We have a number of very interesting chats going on the chat screen, which everyone can read. I think a lot of kudos to all of the people that we're mentioning, particularly people really liking our young entrepreneurs. I think that's a very wonderful thing that people are hearing, all of the entrepreneurship of our young people. So great and amazing progress, and credit to everyone they're saying here. And people looking for contacts, by the way, for all of the great initiatives. And we should circulate contacts so people can get involved afterwards. I think that's the key request.
Super.
Okay, so I think we have the screen on. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome from the city of Pune, right now known as the City of Serum Institute, as Lord Karan Belimoria explained. Many years back, when I was a secretary of the Pune chapter, I got a call from a chapter chair at that time, Adi Engineer, saying that we have an SOS. The global AGM is to be held in Karachi and no one can travel there, so it's been suddenly shifted to Pune, and at very short notice we had the AGM there with a lot of help from the Mumbai chapter. And 2021 has again been allotted to Pune. Again, like Edel Davar said, it is depending on pandemic and how things go and how we coordinate this with the Dubai Expo. We would be very proud to hold this global AGM in Pune if things fall in place. And right now, to take you through a very short PPT presentation, I would like to invite our chapter chair, Temas Barucha. Temas, are you there? Temas needs to be unmuted, Yazdi.
Yeah. Temas, you need to unmute.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you, Temas. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me? So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Vira, for giving a brief introduction about Pune. I'm happy that Pune already has an experience of holding the global AGM, as we have already held once. So this will be our second opportunity, and I will be more than happy to take up this challenge. At the outset, I bring with me all the best greetings and best wishes to one and all for a very happy and healthy 2021 from all the members of Pune chapter. As you know, most of you must be very much aware about Pune. If not, I made a short PPT presentation which we'll go through. So, as you know, Pune is basically a good education center. Students from all over the world come over here for studies. So it's a hub of education known as Oxford of East. And naturally, this gives us the more opportunity for a lot of startups and business entrepreneurs. Pune itself has a large gathering of Zoroastrian entrepreneurs also. A lot of manufacturing industrial units are there in Pune, which are run by Zoroastrians. The most famous one, of course, you know, now we have also told the Serum Institute also is run and owned by Zoroastrians. So Pune has a lot of potential for world-class AGM. And I'm sure I will have support of all my committee members, my senior members, including Viraf, to help us to put up a good show so far as our AGM is concerned. And January will be definitely a good month for Pune, as the weather will be fine. It will be winter. So that will be also an advantage. And now Pune, as you know, has grown a lot. Next to Bombay, it's a smart city in Pune, smart city of India. So it has all the infrastructure facilities, including good accommodation facility, transport facility, air connection, rail connection, all these things are available. So I'm sure everybody will be very convenient to come to Pune, and we expect a large gathering in Pune. Hopefully this pandemic, so-called pandemic now ends, and we will have in-person meeting at the earliest in next January, and our chapter will be more than happy to hold it. So this about Pune, we have explained. Pune chapter also is one of the oldest chapter in India. The various short snips of the hotels that are in Pune. Of course, the venue will be decided later on. Just now, it's just a brief introduction. We'll be going through in detail once it is finalized and once we start the work for holding the AGM. Till then, I've just given a rough idea about this city of Pune in the state of Maharashtra. Of course, we will have also support from our India region board also in Mumbai. So we are quite confident that we'll be able to put up a good show. And of course, looking forward to London in the month of October, hopefully, keeping our fingers crossed. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Unmute.
Shanaz, you're muted.
Unmute.
Sorry, thank you so much. And Adal and Persis, is there anything in the any other matter section?
No, I think mostly this is about people congratulating and saying they really like a global online AGM. It helps the whole community to be involved. The power of technology is being used to unite all of us. So it's a wonderful, well, maybe the pandemic has been the greatest driver of change to do something useful with all the technology we have. So that's the main comment here. Congratulations to everybody and people wanting to be involved with all of the great things that we've talked about. So we should make sure we communicate contact details and ways for people to get in touch via the website, YesD as well.
Yeah, Shana's the only item I would like to add is that we're always looking for continuous improvement. If anyone has ideas, suggestions, comments, please feel free to pass it on to me at any time.
Fezana wants to say a few words.
Yes, that's right. I was going to come on to that. So Zan, come on. Oh,
Hi,
hello.
everybody. Hi. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon from New York. And on behalf of Fizana and all the 25,000 Zarthustis in North America, I want to thank WZCC for doing amazing work over the last so many years, over decades. Fizana really looks forward to the collaboration that we have with WZCC at all levels. We are happy that we have 7 chapters in North America, and hopefully there will be more. And on a personal level, the stuff that I've known Adel Uncle for, as a mentor and as a friend for a decade now. And I think the stuff that he and his team are doing at WZCC, empowering the youth and actually walking the walk, is something that is really amazing to see. And it's from, and I take inspiration from him, and then I hope that myself and my Fizana executive continues to do so. And we look forward to more collaborations in the years to come. So thank you, WZCC, and I can't wait to see you all in person in Pune next year.
Excuse me, we have London before.
Oh, yes. Of course. No, but that I already bought my tickets, so I was just thinking ahead.
No. We are
yes. London first.
Every opportunity.
Yes.
So,
we will be in London in force.
Yes. Azan, you're so sunk.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'd just like to make, before we show our final film, which is a goodbye, and also some words from Lord Bilimoria, I'd like to thank everyone. Adel, our wonderful chair, worldwide chair, Yazdi, who always does the technicals, Aspi Atya and his team do a wonderful job in Mumbai. Thank you so much. Without you and your help and assistance, this wouldn't have been possible. So everyone from the UK, would like to thank you for all your hard work, Aspi, and your team. And I would also like to thank my committee. Without them, I could not do this job. And in fact, they have been amazing. And that is Jimmy Contractor, who is our vice chair, Dorab Mistry, Persis Setna, who's a wonderful host, Zubin Setna, who's on the International Committee. There's Javed Kantinwala, who is actually the treasurer of ZTFE. I've got Darius Karkaria, who's helped me so much on the films, and all our technicals in the UK. We've got Cyrus Todiwala, our master chef, and Nauza Manek Shaw, who was also the international representative from the UK previously to the Global Committee. So thank you all. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you on board. We've had a blast. We've had a great time. I hope you have had too. And if I have forgotten anyone to thank them, all my thanks go to everyone, and including the people who've participated in this AGM and been with us for nearly 2 hours. So thank you so much. And also many congratulations to the 4 winners. So can we now see you out with this wonderful film and with a thank you from Lord Bilimoria. So Yazdi, over to you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much to all of you for attending the AGM. The WZCC is going from strength to strength under the able leadership of Adel Dava. And likewise, the UK chapter is doing so well thanks to all the hard work put in by Shehnaz Engineer. We're grateful to both of you for all that you do. The UK committee is looking forward to welcoming the delegates to the WZCC conclave in London in October. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we wish you goodbye and we wish to see you in London, October 2021. Don't forget, buy your tickets now. They're probably cheaper than later on. So see you then. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations,
Stay safe
Sharnaz.
and well. Thank you so much. Who was that?
Meher.
Oh, Meher, thank you. It's been an absolute terrific experience for everyone in the UK. Our committee was so committed to bringing this AGM to fruition. And thank you so much. So goodbye and see you in London.
Sharnaz, do you have the dates
Bye.
for
Thank you very
2021
much.
October?
We're somewhere in the third week of October, but
Okay,
we're
so-
not sure. It all depends on how the vaccination goes in Britain. And we are going great guns, guys. We've already had 5 million vaccinated, so who knows? I suggest everyone over the water get their vaccines soon. So we want to see you all here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sharnaz.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Persis.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Edel.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Andorosti.
Thank you, Ketayun.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to see over 100 people, 110 on this virtual AGM. I don't think we would have pulled it off if it was in person. So great to see you all. See you soon in London in October.
Brilliant. We are so looking forward to having you all over. We've got some wonderful things planned. Believe me, things that as a normal tourist you would not see. It's, just going to the House of Lords to meet Lord Bilimoria will be fantastic in itself. But we have got, through our good offices of some of our friends, we've got some great places to go to and wonderful events. So please do come.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Edel. Thanks a lot to everybody, and Yazdi, Persis, and everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.